Hi everyone, welcome to Nurse 342 Clinical Thinking in Nursing. My name is Dr. Kate Stiller and I'm going to facilitate the course for you. Today in this video cast, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself and give you some guidance in moving through your first week of the course. First off, my experience is in adult medical surgical nursing and alternative health care. I've earned my bachelor's and master's degree at Edinburgh University and was very pleased with being able to attend a local university, much like many of you are. I also went on to school and traveled 2 hours every day of class to Cleveland to attend Case Western Reserve University Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing. I earned my PhD. When someone earns a PhD in nursing, they do so that they can teach in academic institutions and so that they can complete research which builds on the science of nursing. So you'll hear me refer oftentimes to the science of nursing. When you do research, you uncover new knowledge that helps to build your science. If you have a PhD in chemistry, that helps you to build the science of chemistry. Or biology, you build the science of biology. I have a PhD in nursing, so my focus is human beings and taking care of human beings in all different settings and studying how to have the best outcomes primarily. So that's my background. I am a busy person just like you. I have a family at home. I have 3 adult children who are all in their 20s trying to get started in life, very much like some of you are. One of my sons is a social worker, another is a LPN, and the third doesn't know what he wants to do yet, so we'll see what happens. I have 2 dogs and a husband, and I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. I am much older. I have 26 years of experience in nursing education, teaching at Edinburgh University, Clarion, Gannon, the University of Akron, St. Vincent School of Nursing. So some of you may have seen me out in the clinical setting, or you may have even been taught by me before. So it's exciting to have you in this class. I noticed some of your names I've taught last semester. Last semester was quite a semester for me in that unfortunately I lost both of my parents with whom I was taking care of, and I had to have emergency surgery as well. So it's kind of chaotic. So let's hope that this semester is a better one for me and for all of us. I'm very excited to be teaching this course because this course is about thinking and learning how to think better. And thinking is something that we all take for granted, so it'll be interesting to learn what we don't know. So, as I said, let's move forward now, and I'd like to give you a little introduction to the course and to the content. And that's my primary goal today. So the course is entitled Clinical Thinking in Nursing. When I saw this, I was thinking, well, what's clinical thinking? I've heard of critical thinking, but what is meant by clinical thinking? And I was sure that a theorist developed that terminology. And basically, clinical thinking involves using critical thinking to solve clinical issues and clinical problems. So our goals for this little lecture, my goal is to orient you to the Nurse 342 course. But of course, you're going to do that. You're going to orient to the 342 course. Hopefully you'll be able to describe what is meant by clinical thinking skills by the time we get done today. You'll be able to note that Patricia Benner is a big driver of this course in terms of a lot of her theory as it relates to clinical thinking. And she is a nurse theorist, by the way. You'll be able to define all major concepts that we're going to explore in this course, including critical thinking, clinical thinking, creative thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, ethical reasoning, and metacognition. So I think with most of those terminologies, you could probably describe them off the top of your head with the exclusion of perhaps metacognition. That's not a term we use in our everyday language. So those are our outcomes in addition to just introducing yourself to your classmates on the discussion board, getting to know each other. And that's one of my objectives in videotaping this short little lecture, is so that you can get to know me and know that I'm someone that you can come to with questions, and I'm not going to be rude or arrogant. I'm going to answer your question and try to steer you in the right direction. So I'm in education because I care about my students and I want you to learn, and I work very hard towards that. So I would never want you to be out in cyberspace lost. So the easiest way to get a quick answer is to simply email me at cstiller, C-S-T-I-L-L-E-R, at clarion.edu. And if you're really in a panic, you can call my cell phone, which I have listed under instructor information in our course. Now, please, when you email me or call, tell me which course you are in right away. Say, hey, Dr. Stiller, this is Kate Stiller from NUR 347, Clinical Thinking and Nursing. I have a question about our assignment in week number 1. I'm not sure about such and such, and be very specific. So it's important to give that background information when you call, because I do have 3 courses running at once, and I have a lot of outside committees and obligations and people that I'm working with. So I may not know who you are unless you give it. It's just very helpful and caring to give me that background information. Finally, our final outcome is to discuss the value of cognitive knowledge, professional knowledge, and internal and external factors that will affect your thinking. So, we have cognitive abilities. Some of us are better at analyzing than others, and, other general cognitive processes. Some of us have more professional knowledge than others because we have more experience, we've done more reading. For example, I've done an extensive amount of reading because I've been around. And also, by the way, I've practiced recently working on 7 South, on oncology unit, and med-surg unit at Hammett UPMC, also the oncology unit at St. Vincent's, and fast track of the ER at St. Vincent Health Center. So, just only a couple years ago, I went back to clinical practice and revisited. So I wanted to see if nursing had changed that much. And really, quite frankly, it hasn't. The technology is new and different, but nothing I haven't been working with as a professor in clinical. So that's that. So let's move forward. So let's talk about orienting to the course. Every instructor has things set up just a little bit different. And I think it would be nice if we had greater consistency between instructors. But what I would recommend to you is to go and print off your syllabus and your course calendar so that you can have it in written form, so that you can quickly access it when you're trying to see what's due each week. I would take all the due dates for all of the assignments and put them in your calendar, whether it's on your iPhone or whether you have an actual written calendar, and explore your course assignments. In this class, it's a brief class. It's 7.5 weeks long. So I have 2 short papers for you to complete and a number of discussion board assignments. And those discussion board assignments are assignments. They're not just a time to chat. They're a time for you to show everybody what you've learned, what you've pulled out from your readings, and to reference those readings and other readings that you may have explored. For example, we're going to talk just a little bit about Patricia Benner in this first week. You might want to go to a nursing theorist website and see, all the details about her theory, and you might share that. This is just an example. So then you need to include your references. You need to jot down your references so that you can include them on your discussion board assignment. So I'm working on the requirements for the papers right now. This book that I've assigned to you is new. It's very hard to find textbooks on clinical reasoning and thinking that aren't too expensive. So I did locate one. I like it very much. It is not an easy read. Thinking is a complex topic, so you'll have to take your time with your readings from your textbook. You might need to make notes in the margin. You might need to ask yourself periodically, what is my takeaway from these 2 pages that I've just read? And those are the things that you want to bring forth in the discussion board. And also in your papers. When you do your papers, I'm going to ask you to apply what you've learned from your textbook. So I've sent you an email telling you that it's imperative that you buy your textbook because I am going to use it as the main guidepost for learning in our course. I'm not going to include as much outside reading because I think you're going to have enough to do to read and understand and apply and synthesize everything that you've read in your textbook each week. We will have that book read by about week 5. So in the later weeks, you might see me assigning some outside reading, but generally we'll work from your textbook. In addition, I may use some YouTube videos because I think YouTube videos really make the content come alive. It is difficult to find the perfect YouTube video, though. So that's always a challenge. But that's something I might include as well. I like to do that. So the way I have this course set up is I'll have your course documents, which is the syllabus and the course calendar. The course calendar has all the due dates for your assignments. This course actually runs from Tuesday to Monday, and I have to look at my calendar that I have right here. This is what I'd like you to run off. And so most assignments are due Monday night by 11:59 if they're assigned during that week. So I've tried to be clear and designated the exact date. For example, week 4 runs from 2:14 to 2:20, and your reflection paper is due 2:20 by 11:59 p.m. So I haven't waited until the end to have all your assignments in because I want you to know how you're doing. And there's guidelines for discussion board. You need to have your initial post up by Friday at 11:59, and you need to respond to 2 peers on 2 separate days by Monday at 11:59. So in this way, we have some discussion going throughout the week and not just all at the tail end. That's kind of useless. We need to make use of every day. So if some of you are early birds, I very much appreciate that because you're going to get the discussion going early on, and that will help the whole class. This helps the class learn too. It helps you to learn from what you're reading by applying it in the discussion, but you'll bring out points that other people will have never thought of on their own. So I believe that we have a responsibility not only for our own learning, but for the learning of others in the class when we're doing discussion work. That's a type of group work, really. So you'll see there'll be a rubric for your papers and for discussion board. For all assignments, I urge you to be very clear in your writing and explanatory. And this is kind of a style requirement that's reviewed in your APA book that I believe you've bought previously and learned previously, some of you from me, how to write in a technical way. And, you know, you're not trying to be a drama queen or king. You need to just be very clear, explain what you're talking about, what meaning it has in answering the questions of the assignment, whether it's a discussion board assignment or a paper. Now, on the discussion board, we can be a little more informal because we want to be real. So you'll see me using everyday language when I talk to you here and also in discussion. I don't want it to be stiff, but we still need to apply theory in that discussion and not just say, hey, yeah, this is what I've seen on my unit, and yeah, I agree with you. Way to go, John, for your post. That's wonderful. That's called an attaboy response, and I've been in courses and I've done that before. That's when you don't have time to actually do the assignment. You know, you're trying to just get your mark on that board without saying anything. Well, you're not going to get a very good grade if all of your responses are like that. You can have those responses in addition to having a very scholarly response, which is remarking on readings or internet sites that you've looked at that relate to the content of the week. And that's called a substantive remark. And then applying that theory to everyday life. Yes, you can say, I've noticed that some nurses are dumb bunny nurses. I use that terminology all the time, dumb bunny nurses, meaning they don't think about what they're doing whatsoever. They're en route. They're just moving. They're task-oriented, and they're dangerous, by the way. So we always need to be using clinical thinking. And we need to do that in our discussion board postings and also in our assignments of papers. So if you ever have any questions, please let me know. When I start grading your discussion board, I might give you comments like avoid drama, be specific and explanatory, be more comprehensive. You only have 2 sentences in your post. That's really not going to help anybody much. You know, those kinds of things. So those are my suggestions for both discussion boards and writing high quality papers. Make sure that you're answering the question and not talking around the question. And that's being specific. That's a part of being an educated individual or a nurse scholar. My instructor information is posted. Email is best. I check. I'm kind of addicted to checking my email unless I'm out of town or at a conference. I check it. I'm on the computer all day long normally. So that's kind of the nature of being an online professor. As I said, be certain to introduce yourself when you contact me. So that's the introduction to the course. Now I'd like to just introduce you to the overall course content. And what I did was, you know, get your syllabus. Here it is. Take a peek at it. It has my information, how you can reach me, what my office hours are. They're Monday and Thursday, 2 to 4, and Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. A general course description is here. Our textbook is listed. It's clinical reasoning for the health professionals. I have the ISBN number. That number helps when you're trying to track this textbook down. There's learning outcomes, and they seem kind of vague to me sometimes, like differentiate among skills in the thinking domain. That could be a lot of things. Recognize thinking as a diverse concept. What does that mean? Now, then as you get in the content, you can see there's thinking in nursing. What is thinking? What is better thinking? Consequences of better thinking. Responsible thinking. Once more, very broad kinds of information. But then there's concepts like creative thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, metacognition, Metacognition. Let's